What's going on, lovely people? Welcome into the show. You're tuned in with Fred and Dre, and this is the Flea Flicker Show. All right, what's going on, Fred?
Not much, Adrian. Good week in football, I guess. We both had pretty solid outings in terms of our picks, but Eagles won, Giants lost. So good for me, bad for you. But uh,
Yeah.
we'll get into it. We'll get into more details as we talk.
Yeah, this week was a fun one. There were a couple overtime games, a little quarterback drama going on in the league, and the Eagles and Niners remain undefeated. Good for you, I guess. The Dolphins lost, so that was bad for me and our pick. But we'll get into that when we get into it. For now, let's head to Thursday night football. The Lions headed to Lambeau Field with the Packers. It was Love's second game as the Packers starting quarterback in Lambeau, and the Packers fans were pretty excited to see it, but it ultimately didn't end too well. The Lions took it 34-20. Yeah, the Packers O-line was kind of rough for Love out there in
Yeah.
this one. What do you think of it, man?
Yeah, I think they're really missing the guys that are injured out there, and
Mm.
um, they really embodied the whole cheesehead mentality there because the offensive line looked like Swiss cheese. There were so many holes in that line. The defense too. I mean, the Lions were able to do whatever they wanted, so their defense looked like Swiss cheese. They're just embodying the entire cheesehead mentality, and
Not in a good way.
not in a good way. There's a lot of holes there. I think they're a good team. There's just a lot of room to grow, and both on defense and offense. It really shows the depth at position that the good teams have to be able to have a couple guys go down and be able to have the next man up mentality.
Yeah, Montgomery looked really good in his return.
Dude,
121
Montgomery looked
yards, three
nasty.
touchdowns. Yeah, he
He
looked real
killed me
good.
in 2 leagues. Killed me. Killed me. But yeah, their usage of Gibbs is kind of startling. It kind of makes you wonder why they got rid of Swift if they're not really using
Yeah.
Gibbs like they would use for a high draft pick. So that's a little puzzling.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I thought the return of Jones and Watson to the Packers offense would have helped in this one, but the O line just without Bakhtiari and Jenkins, they couldn't do anything. 5 sacks. It was rough for them.
Yeah, it was rough for a lot of offensive lines this week. There were a lot of sacks that were made.
Yeah. Well, let's move to Sunday, 9:30 a.m. game in London. God save the king now. Yeah, the Jags took this one 23-7 over the Falcons. It was kind of like I said, I thought the Jags were going to do good in their home, even though you did mention that they haven't in the past.
Yeah,
But
but now they're 500, so they're 5-5 now at home. But they took care of business. It was a jolly good beat down there for the Jags, and uh, what can you say? They took care of business on their unofficial home away from home, and it was good to see Ridley get involved again. He's a
mm,
little slow after the first game, and I think he really is the X factor in that offense. And you got to wonder if Zay Jones being out the last 2 or 3 games really impacts them as well, because I mean he's another red zone target that's not there.
yeah, the Jags defense actually showed up in this one. And the offense, they did pretty good. But defensively, Josh Allen had 3 sacks in this one. He looked pretty good out there. I want you to imagine right now if they picked Aiden Hutchinson over Trayvon Walker. If they had Hutchinson and Allen back there, whoa.
Yeah,
Trayvon Walker did have a sack in this one, but Hutchinson just looks way
he doesn't
better.
look bad, but Hutchinson looks like one of the best rushers in the NFL.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, on the Falcons side though, like on offense, there isn't really much there outside of Bijan. Bijan is the offense, and outside of him, there's nothing
Hmm.
there. They have pieces. They have Kyle Pitts. They have London. Mac Hollins isn't bad in his own right, but I mean, just Ritter is not the guy. Like he's not the
No.
guy to get it done. You got to imagine they're going to be in the QB sweepstakes this year because this draft is loaded. I'd personally like to see. I don't know if they'll get there to the top pick, but I'd like to see
Mhm.
Williams there. I think he'd be really fun in that
Mm.
offense, along with Shea Sanders and Penix.
Yeah, dude, Ritter stunk it up. He threw 2 picks, including a pick six. Just give up on him, man. I really just want to see Heineke in this offense.
Yeah, yeah,
He'd
yeah.
be exciting at least. He would be not be afraid to throw it to the
No,
guys.
he won games for the Commanders last year, and he'd be very fun. He'd be exciting to play there, and he lays it all out for his team. And
Yeah.
I think Sanders would be a really cool option there, just because his dad played for the Falcons. So kind of
Ooh, yeah.
having him back there and keeping the Sanders line in Atlanta would be pretty cool.
Dude, I like that. I'm gonna steal your take on that for my video later.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you hear, speaking of Caleb Williams, did you hear what he apparently said recently?
About what? About the draft?
Yeah.
No.
He uh he said USC, I'm already getting paid the big bucks. Like I'm not gonna leave for the NFL unless I know where I'm going and I want to be there. And he named like 5 teams that he would play for. I'm like, damn, this guy.
Were the Falcons one of them?
I don't think so. I'd have to look again. I think it was like the 49ers, the Giants, and then the Vikings were one of them. I don't remember the other Cowboys. The Cowboys were one of them. It was like kind of random teams in my opinion, but
Yeah.
I don't
Teams
know.
that likely won't be in position to pick him at the
Yeah.
top of the draft. So yeah, it's nice. Like, oh, I want to go to this team that's already a good team. And it's like, well, they already have a quarterback
Yeah.
probably. So
It'd be
um,
crazy if he didn't come out.
that'd be wild. But that is a factor that people have to look at now, right? With the new NIL deals, these top quarterbacks, these top athletes, they're making tons of money in college.
Yeah, they're already millionaires.
Yeah, they're making two, three, $5 million in college, and that that aspect of going pro isn't necessarily the icing on the cake for them. They have
Mhm.
really the say and the ball's in their court on where they want to go.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It'll be interesting to see in the future for sure.
Yeah.
Let's move to the 1 p.m. games, though. Let's start with our game of the week. It didn't quite turn out to be the game that I thought it was going to be, or anyone really. I don't think the Buffalo Bills versus the Dolphins. Buffalo took care of business. They won 48-20 in this one, and their defense just they came to work and they showed off. Allen and Diggs went off like I said they were going to. Josh Allen was near perfect, 320 yards and 4 tutties and a rushing touchdown. Diggs had 120 and 3 touchdowns. They even got Gabe Davis involved. They still took some touchdowns away from your
Mhm.
guy James Cook, which I think just
Yeah.
might be a thing at this point.
Yeah, James Cook, he's clearly good. He gets a lot of yardage every game. He gets a lot of usage, but in the red zone, they don't use him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because he's not huge, he's not a really big guy, but um, you got to imagine that he has the skill set to hammer it in. But yeah, Josh Allen and the Bills, they made a splash, and they contained
Big
Hill.
win.
They contained Hill for the most part, and if you can contain him, you can really slow down the Dolphins offense. And it really sucks for them that Tre'Davious White is out for the year.
Yeah.
I think their defense is still gonna be solid, but it's not gonna be the powerhouse that it is. He's a phenomenal cornerback, but
Mhm.
they really showed that like even a high-powered offense like the Dolphins, um, Dolphins can't swim against the current, and a dominant defense can stop a high-powered offense. So, uh, as good as the Dolphins' offense is, they can always be tested depending on the opponent.
Yeah, I agree. The one like real bright spot for this game for the Dolphins was A-Chain. I think he might be here to stay for him. He had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a big 55-yard run. I don't know if you saw that. That was
Mhm.
impressive.
He's His breakaway speed is huge, and I mean
Yes.
the Dolphins' offense is made on speed, and he
Fastest
fits
team in
that
the league.
offense perfectly. So, yeah, his just breakaway ability is massive. His big play ability, just every play can be a breakaway. It's crazy.
Yeah, we'll see about the Finns though. This game does worry me a little bit. I don't know if their defense is going to be good enough to make like a deep playoff run. The Bills dropped 48 on them. I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, and that's
We'll
always
see.
been my concern with them. Their offense is really good. It's the best show on turf right now.
Mhm.
Uh, it's just like the Kurt Warner Rams, but it's their defense. Their defense can't really contain teams. So it's like if they face the Bills, the 49ers, the Chiefs, the Eagles, these offenses that can really put up points, can they contain them?
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be we'll see. We'll see with
Yeah.
some of their big games this season.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can get better because I really do want to see that offense in the big playoff games.
Yeah.
But let's move. We're going to go to Carolina. The Vikings came to town. Both these teams were struggling a lot. Somebody had to win it. The Vikings took care of business. They won 21-13 in a pretty close game. I thought the Vikings were going to win this more easily, but Bryce Young actually didn't look bad in this one. I thought he did pretty decent. He just couldn't really find the end zone. But yeah, I don't know. What do you want to say about this game?
Yeah, man, that's really what it's about, though, right? It's about finding the end zone, and I mean, one of their touchdowns that they had in the 14 points they did have was a defensive touchdown. So the offense still really couldn't get anything
Mm.
going against a bad defense. So the Vikings were able to get in the win column finally, and um, the Panthers they looked more like kittens than a jungle cat, and it's
I like it.
it's I don't know if Bryce is the guy.
Yeah, at least.
I was kind of skeptical on him going into the season, and it's really out against him for his stature. He's under
Hmm.
200 pounds, under 6 feet tall, without exceptional athleticism. It's really hard for him to make his name in the NFL, and um, he's very smart, a very smart quarterback, makes great reads, but it's there's only so much that a smart quarterback can do.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And it doesn't look any better that what the other two rookie
Yeah, I mean
quarterbacks have been doing so far.
Stroud and Richardson are playing like 7 year veterans. They're just playing great. But Kurt is putting up MVP numbers this year, so that can't be overlooked by the fact that the Vikings record is 1-3 now. His
Hmm.
numbers this year so far are staggering. They're amazing. That offense is huge, and if they can get some more wins and be like a 9-8 team, he can make an MVP push.
Yeah, yeah, I could see it. The only thing against him right now, though, is he does have a lot of turnovers. He's making some big time mistakes. That's always kind of been his thing, though.
Hmm.
Just kind of mistake prone when the game's on the line type thing.
Yeah,
Um, he is going to be a free agent. We probably don't have to talk about that yet. It's really early in the season, but I don't know if they keep losing like this, they could be looking to replace him at the end of the
yeah,
year.
yeah. That and they kind of go into the talk of could they trade Kirk Cousins to
Mm,
somebody a team that needs a quarterback and doesn't have one, but is still a solid team. So somebody I'm looking at like the Patriots. There are a lot of
mm.
pieces there, but Mac Jones isn't the guy. So could Kirk Cousins be someone that can excel in the Patriots offense? Um, and there's a few teams like that. And we'll get into it, but
Yeah. Yeah, maybe like week 6 we can talk about some trade candidates or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, for now let's move to Chicago. The Broncos went to Chicago in a game that somebody had to win because these two have not looked good at all. This was a really up and down game. We thought the Bears were going to take it early, and then they kind of just fell apart like they've been doing, unfortunately, for Bears fans. And the Broncos they just came back and took it 31-28. Sean Payton first win as a Bronco in an all-time classic poop bowl. Um, yeah, Russ cooked in the second half. They were down 28-7. Russ threw 223 yards and 3 touchdowns to 10 different receivers. It was a pretty solid game for him after they started coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Javonte Williams got hurt in this one. Hopefully he's not too banged up. But
His backup did pretty well though.
yeah, Jaleel McLaughlin, he looked pretty solid in relief. He had like 10 yards per carry, which is pretty
He looked
wild.
better than Williams has.
Yeah, Williams hasn't been looking too great. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
this was an interesting game. I mean, I had Fields as my comeback one of my comeback players this week and as one of my must start quarterbacks, and he proved that he was able to come out and
Smart pick.
uh put up a performance. This was a get right game for him, and but then the offense just kind of stalled out.
Yep.
They put up 28 points quick, and he was perfect on the day. He hadn't missed a pass, and then they just did nothing after that. So
Mm.
it was crazy that he also got Cole Kmet involved. So Cole Kmet
Yeah.
had a massive day, and I faced a guy in fantasy that had Cole Kmet, Fields, and Russell Wilson in a 2 QB league, and it was like these three have done nothing all year, and then they face me and they do phenomenal, and it's like all right, whatever.
Classic.
But yeah,
Just how
this
it
game was
happens.
it may have been a battle on the field, but it was more like a struggle for mediocrity. Uh,
Mm.
in the end, the Broncos just proved they suck less. And the Bears are on pace to have the 1 and 2 pick because of they're having the Panthers pick, so that could really shake up the draft. I mean, Fields
Yeah.
is seems to be the guy they want to roll with, so you could see that number 1 pick getting traded again.
And get more number 1 picks.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll have 3 for number 1 picks next year. I don't know.
maybe.
Yeah, Fields, he threw 4 touchdowns in this one, over 300 yards, like you said. Really good first like half,
Yeah.
and then went downhill. And DJ Moore, 131 yards and a tutty. He did good too. Herbert, 100 yards and a tutty. They look good in the first half, but yeah, both these teams kind of stink. Let's push. We're gonna
Yeah, you
go
got to
to
wonder if, real quick, just to touch it, you got to wonder if it was a tank job. If they were like,
ooh.
yeah,
Like,
you
wait
got
a minute, we're
to
winning.
wait a minute, we're winning. We can't win. We have to guarantee that we get that first pick. There's a lot of bad teams this year, so don't win.
That's something to think about.
Yeah.
Maybe. But let's push to Cleveland. Yeah, the Ravens came to town. I thought this was going to be a really good game. I think we both thought it was going to be a really good, like, defensive type game. A lot of injuries. Neither of us thought Deshaun Watson was going to miss this one. That definitely affected the game. The Ravens ended up kind of dominating this one, 28-3. Really unfortunate. One thing with Deshaun Watson, he was like a surprise healthy scratch because
Mhm.
he was actually medically cleared to play, but he said that he didn't like he couldn't go. It was his decision because of his shoulder, which I respect it, but like at the same time, I don't know. He's getting
Gut it
paid
out for your
buku money,
team, right?
Yeah, that's I don't know. So I don't
Yeah, at
know.
the same time, like he's the quarterback's the leader. The
Yeah,
quarterback's expected to, if they can play, to play. Um, the team really takes after the quarterback's guidance, and if the quarterback is sitting out when they're deemed healthy to play, it's kind of a question as to where their leadership is and where their headspace is for the team. And um, while you do respect him being conscious of his own body, you got to wonder how devoted is he?
yeah. Good point for sure. I thought when I heard Watson was out, I kind of got a little excited because I really like Dorian Thompson Robinson, DTR. But he looked rough in his first start. He just
Yeah,
looked like the game was a little too fast for him. He's a rookie first game. It makes sense. But yeah, he threw 3 picks and just couldn't get anything going offensively. It was a good defense though, so I mean, it's a tough first start for him.
yeah. The Ravens came out with a W, pretty commanding W, but
Yeah,
you can't forget that sometimes a little luck can be like as refreshing as, I know, a beer or a glass of lemonade on a hot summer day. So, uh, facing a rookie QB in his first start, and he wasn't a high profile QB coming out of college. They lucked into that situation here. It's a lot like just finding a four-leaf clover for the Ravens and
yeah, yeah.
luck,
Lamar, four
luck into
total
it, lucking
touchdowns.
into a situation that is beneficial to them. So
I'm sorry, what'd you say there?
they lucked into a situation that was beneficial to them.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you there. Um, yeah, Lamar, he had 4 total touchdowns, 2 of them going to Mark Andrews. He looked pretty good in one that I kind of talked poop on him going into it. I think I said that earlier. I'm not sure if we were recording yet, but yeah,
Yeah,
let's we'll see if they get some of those guys hurt back too. They definitely need some guys if they want to keep it up, but
yeah. I'm
the
not sold.
Ravens,
I'm not sold on the Ravens though. I think that this was just a situation where it was a lucky circumstance for them, and because of their injuries, and I, Lamar has played very well this year, but I'm not sold on them as a whole.
yeah, I'm not either, but that division in general has been very disappointing. So they could still make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of that division, let's push to Houston, where the Steelers came to town, and this was a shocking game for me.
For you, not for me.
Not for you, for me. I thought the Steelers defense was going to come to town and show CJ Stroud that he is still a rookie. CJ Stroud did not care at all, though. The
No.
Texans took this one 30-6. Kenny Pickett looked rough out there, and CJ Stroud looked great. It's a tale of 2 draft classes right there. Kenny Pickett also got hurt in this one with a knee injury, so let's hope he's okay for
Yeah, let's hope
them.
he's okay because Mitch Trubisky is not somebody you want as your quarterback.
Yeah, but you like Stroud? What you want to tell me about him or, on this team?
Yeah, I'm really high on Stroud. I mean, he's a rookie and he's not showing it. He came in, he might be new to the league, but man, has he shined so far, and he's playing at an elite level early on. He's one of the top passers in the league as far as passing yards, and his connection with really all of his receivers. He has a good
Hmm.
connection with Woods, with Collins, with Tank Dell, and they have other weapons in Mechie and Hutchinson who
Yep.
he should be good for a while. Most of them are young except for Woods. So, um, yeah, Texans took Steelers to the rodeo and showed them a wild ride.
Yeah, it's surprising how good the Texans are like off the bat with Stroud. He threw for 300 over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he still has not thrown an interception in his career yet.
That's insane. Like if he was gonna throw an interception, I thought it would be against the Steelers.
Yeah,
Um,
they're really good defense, and he
but
just tore
what
them
does he
apart.
have? 11 TDs with no interceptions now?
I believe that's correct. Yeah, it's crazy.
Whatever the number is, it's the fastest start of any QB in NFL history for touchdowns without throwing an interception. So
Yeah,
he's on
I saw
pace
the
for greatness
graphic.
so far.
I saw the graphic of him up there with like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, a bunch of Hall of Famers.
Yeah, so early signs are pointing to a really good QB pick for the Texans.
Yeah, I'm pumped. The Texans, did you see the spicy Singletary touchdown? Devin
That where he
Singletary?
threw the TD.
Yeah, trick
Yeah, and
play to Dalton
I have
Schultz.
Stroud in a few leagues, and I was like, oh damn it, a Singletary TD. I like why couldn't this be another touchdown for Stroud? But
Yeah. Demeco Ryans has this team humming, a fun and up and coming team after years of turmoil. Yeah, they're turning the corner, and they could be a sneaky playoff team,
they
to
certainly
be
are, and
honest.
they're young too, so there's a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, wide open
And
division.
Stroud's doing it with a bad offensive line, so that's definitely something to point out because
Yeah,
typically
Tunzel,
teams don't really function well if they don't have a good offensive line. So
wild. Yeah, Caleb Williams, look at this. He went to a bad team and he's doing great. So,
yeah,
yeah, we didn't really talk about the Steelers too much. It was just a rough game for them.
it was a bad game for them. They got a couple injuries coming out of this. Freiermuth as well as Pickett
Oh yeah,
are both injured, so it's really just Pickens that is going to be thrown to from Trubisky if Trubisky starts, and
yeah. Pickett
uh,
can't go.
I might have to bench Pickens in most of my leagues.
Yeah, I'm trying to drop him for Josh Dobbs in one of my leagues right now. That's crazy. Never would have thought that. Um, let's push to an overtime game. Indianapolis, the Rams went to Indianapolis, and it was a really good game. It surprised me. The Rams did come out with it in overtime, 29-23. Matt Stafford got rolled up on and hurt his hip, but he plays through it like he always does. He's a beast out there.
Take notes,
Um,
Deshaun Watson.
hey, yeah, Anthony Richardson, he was fun in his return. 3 total touchdowns. Yeah, 24-0 comeback opportunity for Richardson, but they just fell short in the overtime with who other than Puka Nakua.
Yeah, yeah. Game was a wild ride. Rams came out to the early lead, and we're up big early, and it looked like it was going to be a blowout. But I mean, Ant is
Mm-hmm.
good, and he proved just like Stroud, he's a capable quarterback as a rookie, and um, got the comeback there for them. I'm pretty confident in the Colts offense. I think Steichen's a very good coach, but uh, Puka, man, Puka's a handful. He's good. He's
I,
so freaking good.
I can't wait
Um,
to see him and Coop in the same offense.
they're like the same player. Like, they're like the same exact player. So having those two guys in the offense together plus Tutu, like that's going to be a lethal passing attack. I don't want to see them next week. I'm happy that Cooper's not playing for them next week, but he's starting practicing this week, but he's not expected to play. So
Mm,
I'm happy we
soon.
don't have to deal with both of them.
Yeah, I saw a graphic after the game where Puka Nakua is up there with like career receptions along with Cooper Cup and Calvin Johnson. And then it was like, these were all Matt Stafford's receivers. I was like, Stafford loves his number ones.
He's the wide receiver maker. He's the
Yeah.
kingmaker. I mean, think about it.
So
Kenny Galladay. I mean, you're familiar with him, and he was
unfortunately,
phenomenal with Detroit, but stunk it up for the
yeah.
Giants. So Matt Stafford is the kingmaker for receivers, apparently.
Yeah. So I wonder if when Coop comes back, if Puka's going to get way less though.
I don't know. I think he'll definitely see a decrease in targets. I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to see a ton less because Cooper rides a lot out of the slot, uh, and Puka is on the outside. So
Mm.
I don't think they're going to really interfere too much with each other's production. I think that Tutu will get affected more than Puka, but we'll see. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes.
I'm just pumped to see them both in the same offense.
Yeah,
I think this
same.
is definitely a playoff team.
I think they are too. And I wasn't high on them coming to the season, and
Hmm.
they're very fun to
Same.
watch.
These could both be playoff teams. The Colts possibly in that division.
Yeah, I mean that division looks like Texans and Colts right now.
Yeah. Anyway, let's push to New Orleans. The Bucks came to town against the Saints. I thought it was going to be a good game. I didn't think Derek Carr was going to play, to be honest, though. He kind of toughed it out with that shoulder injury. I really think he should have sat because he didn't look too great out there. The
No.
Bucks ended up taking it 26-9 in not a very close game.
Yeah, kind of staying with the shoulder injury situation, like Deshaun Watson sat out on his, and it very well could have been a similar situation to the Saints game where
Mm,
if he played, he could have looked just like Derek Carr did. And I still have faith in Carr
yeah,
throughout the season, but man, he just did not look healthy. He did not look good, and uh, the Bucks came to play. They were clearly on. I mean, Baker's clearly on the same page with his receivers. It
yeah.
sucks that Evans got hurt, but
Mm.
Godwin stepped up, and they do have some weapons there. They have a pretty decent rookie there as well, so they should stay in shape.
Yeah, Evans left with a hammy. Hopefully he'll be fine. I thought Jameis Winston should have started this one. A funny stat I saw: Jameis Winston threw one pass, and it was an interception. God damn it, Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I kind of wanted Jameis to get the start as well. I wanted to see him go against his old team, so
Yeah, that would have been
it's
fun.
always a fun thing when guys can get like a revenge game.
Yeah, yeah. Bucks have command of that division for now. We'll see if they can maintain it. But let's move to your team, Philadelphia. The Commanders came to town, and yeah, it's always a good game, I guess, between these two.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said in our talk last week, it could have been a trap game. Because we always struggle with Washington. Doesn't matter who's quarterback, whether it's Cousins, Heineke, or Howell. We didn't struggle with Carson Wentz, but
Alex Smith.
yeah, it's we struggled with Washington, and we had to claw our way out of this one, but we're able to, and thanks to the leg of Jake Elliott. So the Eagles, I will say, do need to have more urgency early. The offense is consistently slow to start the games, and
Mm-hmm.
um, the
Do you
defense can't seem to put everything together each week. One week like every week they're really good against the run, but the secondary is kind of hit or miss each week. But we'll see.
Do you think it could be them, like the players getting used to the new coordinators in both sides?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's a completely different. I mean, like on defense, they're blitzing significantly more than they did under Gannon. Um, the they're set up completely differently, and I like how it's set up. I like the aggressiveness that we have on defense. I think it's more fun to watch for sure. On offense, I think that's really the biggest thing. I think it's Hurts is trying to get on page with Brian Johnson, and he's not there at this point. He had 2 years under Steichen, so
Hmm.
um, I think it'll get there. In the second half, he looked really good. The second half, Hurts looked really good. The offense looked really good. I mean, AJ Brown went for 175 yards, so there's
Two
something there.
teddies.
It's just not fully in place yet, and I think it'll get there, but
Yeah.
uh, just depends how long.
Yeah. They've been surviving though. They're what, 4-0 now, even
Yeah,
with their slow start. Yeah. 34-31. So OT.
I will
Yeah, Sam
say
Howell though.
he improved against the pass rush. He looked terrible against the
Yeah.
Bills, and it didn't matter if guys were in his face this week, and he was stepping up and making plays.
Yeah, I feel like he really showed something against a tough defense in this one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let's push though. Tennessee, the Bengals came to town against the Tennessee Titans. I thought it might be close, but the Titans ended up kind of dominating them 27-3. The Bengals, they might just be bad at this point.
yeah.
I don't know.
You gotta sit Burrow. I mean,
And
Burrow,
yes.
he's he's clearly not healthy. He's playing through injuries, and it's hurting the team. Just let him sit, let him get healthy, because at this point, like him in the offense is like if you have a broken pencil. Yeah, it still works. It can still write, but you can't really do too much with it. Like you're not gonna like I don't know. He's not healthy. He has
Yeah,
to get
he's
right.
not.
He has to get
Just
right.
let Jake Browning have a game
Yeah,
or maybe two. I don't
a
know.
game or two. This should have been a game that you could have started him in and
Yes.
been okay. But I mean, Burrow is just not healthy. And the Titans, they just showed that King Henry can really do everything for them.
He's
I
still
mean,
there.
he threw a touchdown pass. He ran for a touchdown. King Henry can single-handedly win them games, and he did.
Yeah, that Titans defense is still no joke.
Yeah,
They're pretty solid. And Tannehill, he's like Two-Face from Batman at this point. Because this was another like good, accurate game for him where he didn't really make mistakes. And then like last week he was terrible. The week before he was solid. The week before that he was like terrible. I don't know if that's going to keep happening, but I hope not for the Titans and Tannehill's sake.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
probably the last year for him
He's
there.
a day and night quarterback, and you got to imagine this last year. I mean, they have two young quarterbacks there at the system, and they're going to go with one of them. So, um, they should really get rid of Tannehill because I mean, it doesn't make sense for him to stay there if they don't have playoff and Super Bowl aspirations.
Yeah. Or will they add another rookie quarterback in this draft?
They could, yeah.
Three young quarterbacks,
Three
all
rookie quarterbacks. One of them's got to hit, right?
five. You got to just keep throwing those darts. All right, let's push to the 4 p.m. games. The first one is in LA. The Chargers, the Raiders came in, and this was actually a pretty solid game. The Chargers did end up taking it 24-17. Um, yeah, Jimmy G didn't start. I thought it was
No,
going to be Brian Hoyer, but Aiden O'Connell jumped him on the depth
rookie.
chart. Yeah, the rookie that looks like Farva from Super Troopers. Um, yeah, he immediately faced pretty overwhelming pressure that forced 3 turnovers on him. And
Man,
yeah,
if
the
can you
Chargers.
imagine seeing that guy like on the street? And I would never expect that he was
That
an
is not
NFL
an NFL
quarterback.
quarterback.
Like he
That
might
is
be
a
a
firefighter, right?
he's a plumber.
Yeah. I love it though. I love it. He gives all the normal people a shot, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I interrupted you. Continue.
Well, I don't know. The Chargers, they kind of just need Eckler back. I don't know. They're winning some games. Josh Palmer was making plays out there in his first game as like the starter. Herbert rushed for 2 tutties and won the game. The D
Yeah,
stepped up.
yeah. I mean the Chargers offense is still good, but it's not even. It proved that without Mike Williams, it's still a good passing attack. But Eckler is still going to add that additional piece. He adds so much to that offense, and it can really hit into the next gear when he's there. But their defense, Khalil Mack, 6 sacks. That's
Yeah. No
one
Joey
away,
Bosa, no problem, right?
one away from the record. So that's pretty remarkable. But the Raiders are a team that's really weird to me. There's so many pieces on their offense, and they have Devonte Adams, they have Renfro, they have Myers, they have the rookie Mayer for tight end. He should be a good tight end. They have Josh Jacobs at running back. Like they have a lot of pieces. Um, you got to
I know
think
what they're
like
missing.
a quarterback,
Head coach.
head coach. Yeah, yeah. Our buddy
I hate that guy. He sucks.
Josh actually is a huge Raiders fan, and he was like, "We have to get rid of McDaniels. McDaniels is terrible.
He is.
Firing
He's so bad.
McDaniels." Yeah. But at this point, like without a good head coach and without a quarterback that puts you on that next level, it's a lot like you have the pieces for a Ferrari, but it's running with a lawnmower's engine.
Mm.
So without those two pieces in place, they can only do so much on offense. And I really want to see them do something because there's a lot of pieces. They could be so
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in
I
Vegas
agree.
too.
I could see this being a Sanders team.
I want
Dion
this
get
to be a Caleb Williams team. I think
that'd
he
be
could do
tight.
a lot
That would be
with
tight.
the Raiders.
I could just see like Dion and his son going to Vegas.
Prime time in Vegas.
Oh my God. They'd have every primetime game.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun.
All right, let's move to 2 teams that I hate and I don't really want to talk about. Dallas. Yeah, the Patriots came to town and Dallas just kind of slapped them around and told them to get the hell out of here. They won 38-3. I thought this was going to be a better game, but yeah, the Cowboys completely dominated the Pats. They gave Bill Belichick his worst loss of his Hall of Fame career. Mac Jones crumbled under pressure. got benched after 2 picks, including a pick 6, also a strip sack for another touchdown. Zero capability against this defense.
Yeah.
Fans are probably going to start calling for Zappe again at this point. I'm going to start calling for Will Grier personally. I'm going to keep just mentioning him. Maybe he'll get a start this year if I mention him enough times. Yeah, this was just another easy win for the Cowboys, and I freaking hate it.
Yeah. The Pats got lassoed and wrangled by the Cowboys. It was a disaster. The Cowboys defense was suffocating the Pats offense, and the Dallas offense didn't really need to be on the field.
Yeah.
Most half their scoring was from the defense. So
Literally.
Mac Jones is terribly inconsistent. He played this entire game like he played the first half against Philly, and he's just so frustrating. He's so frustrating to watch.
He's dirty too.
Yeah, a little below the belt action against Sauce Gardner when they met up, and you gotta wonder like what's gonna happen in the QB room there for the Pats. Like I think they should go with Will Grier. I agree with you there. I think he's just see what you have in him. Can he be a starter? Can he be a solid backup for you? What do you have in him?
I think he's more talented than both Mac Jones and Zappe.
I agree. Zappe is slightly more talented, I think, than Mac Jones, but they're both essentially the same quarterback.
Yeah, they even look the same, in my opinion.
Are they going to be like you have to determine whether you're whether you're the Patriots, if they're going to be in the QB sweepstakes in the draft, or if they're a piece away by just trading for a quarterback. Say maybe trading for Jimmy G, or trading for Kirk Cousins. Is that going to put them over the top? Or do they need to draft somebody like a JJ McCarthy or Quinn Ewers? Like, what's their next step?
Yeah, good points. Good points. Mac Jones, I saw a post about him. It was after the Jets game, so it's kind of old, but somebody said that Mac Jones looks like the bad guy in like every sports movie. But yeah, tale of the Patriots. They're the bad guys.
Of course, yeah. And you have Emperor Palpatine there, man in the helm for the Patriots. So I mean, they're going to be all bad guys.
Brady was Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move to San Francisco. The Cardinals came to town and they put up a bit of a fight, but they just didn't have enough against this team. The Niners won it 35-16, and the Niners are just so talented. It's ridiculous. They didn't even really use Debo or Kittle in this one, and they still won easy with McCaffrey and Ayuk going off. Ayuk, whatever.
Ayuk, yeah. I mean, the Cardinals put up a fight. They were pretty close for a while. I think they were within one score at one point, and pretty good testament out to them. But there's only so much they can do. I mean, SF is too good. San Francisco's too good of a team, and Christian McCaffrey's too good. I mean, he had almost 200 all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns. Like,
is he the offensive player of the year right now?
Yeah, he's front runner for it. Definitely running away with it. So I think the only real competition there is Justin Jefferson. He's on pace for the best receiving year in history. But you got to think CMC is right now. I mean, he's single-handedly not single-handedly, but he's the primary reason that the 49ers are where they are right now.
Dangerous. He's very dangerous. Brock Purdy was like damn near perfect. He was 20 for 21 passing. I just can't believe how perfect he's like always making the right play. He's so smart with the ball.
He's doing what he has to do in the offense. Like the offense has so many pieces. Like he's not making mistakes. He's just letting the game come to him, which is great. He's not he's not gonna give you like 400 passing yards in a game, but he's just doing enough to get the wins, which is really all you need in that offense.
Yeah.
You need a game manager, which is what he's proved to be.
He's the perfect quarterback for Kyle Shanahan. I almost said Matt. Who the fuck is Matt Shanahan? But yeah, the only other thing from this game I wanted to say was Josh Dobbs. I think he's cemented himself as like a backup quarterback for the foreseeable future now in the NFL. Sure.
I mean, Kyler's definitely going to start when he comes back, but I mean, Josh Dobbs looks solid.
Yeah. 2 touchdowns. Both of them went to Michael Wilson. But yeah. Let's move. unless you got something else.
I'm
Let's
good.
move to Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs versus the Jets in MetLife Stadium. This was the Swifty Bowl 2.0, basically. This was actually surprisingly close. I thought the Chiefs were going to run away with it, but Zach Wilson, I thought maybe this could be a turnaround game because he was actually
Yeah.
looking pretty solid. 245 yards and 2 touchdowns. He got caught looking up at Kelsey's mom at one point, but he still fumbled the game
Looking at Donna.
away at the end. What'd you say?
Looking at Donna, checking her out.
Donna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was definitely right up there with the surprise game of the week. It was really the Titans and the Jets. There were two huge surprises this week. I thought this game was going to be a blowout, but I
Mhm.
mean, Zach Wilson, he looked competent. He looked pretty decent. He connected with Lazard a couple times, connected
Yeah.
with Wilson, and much to my liking. I mean, Wilson's a phenomenal talent. So, or Garrett Wilson is a phenomenal talent. I hope that he can keep a good,
Yeah.
good connection with him. So he helps out my fantasy team. But
I'm still mad that Rodgers isn't there. Garrett Wilson would probably be like leading the league in receptions right now,
Garrett Wilson would be
or yards.
phenomenal with Aaron Rodgers or really anyone else. But um,
Yeah.
I will say Zach Wilson did look good this game. The Chiefs, they're 2-0 with Taylor Swift in attendance,
Yo.
but they should have won the games that they played anyway. However, I will say it's clear that Patty Mahomes is forcing the ball to Travis with
Mm,
Taylor Swift in attendance. So he
yeah.
threw 2 interceptions and nearly fumbled the ball this game. And I think
Yep.
there was another almost third interception that was dropped. So uh, they're just caught up in the love story and they need to shake
I
it
think
off and
so.
focus on their next game and not the Taylor Swift Kelsey
Yeah, get Swift out of here. 2 games is
action.
enough.
Yeah.
Let him get back to the Chiefs.
I saw she was rocking the Kelsey split jersey. So she's
Ooh,
rocking the Eagles Chiefs one because she's a huge Eagles fan.
of course she is.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
she's from Reading, which is like kind of near Philly. So
mm, I know where Reading is. I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
interesting. I will say that Mahomes did have his ankle taped up last game, so he might have been playing slightly hurt, but that's not really an excuse for him because he is the best QB in the game, so he shouldn't really
yeah,
be having games like this.
he shouldn't.
Pacheco kind of saved him though. He had 115 yards and a tutty,
Yeah,
so
it was a come home game for him. He's a Jersey guy. He went to Rutgers and um really a come home game for Pacheco, and he just had an all out performance. Like it was a career high for him in like all across the
mhm.
board. So good for him on having such a good game.
Yeah, Chiefs, get back to chiefing. All right. Let's move to the worst game of the freaking week, in my opinion. Monday Night Football. Why are the Giants still in prime time? Yeah, the Seahawks came into MetLife and just manhandled the Giants and took it 24-3. The offense didn't really have to do anything in this one because the defense, they were everywhere. They had 11 sacks, a pick six, and the Giants couldn't get anything going. Daniel Jones, once again, running for his life. The Giants really needed to win this one. They have a tough schedule. I think they got the Dolphins coming up. That's not going to really be, I mean, maybe it'll be a little easier. The Dolphins defense isn't good, but we'll talk about that next time. Yeah, the Giants, they need Saquon and they need Andrew Thomas back before it's too late, which it might already be.
Yeah.
They just can't do anything. It's disgusting to watch. The fans are getting pissed. Dayball is losing his shit on the sidelines. Him and DJ got into a little bit in this one, which was not fun to see. It's just it's looking like it might turn into a disaster year for the whole team, and it's not fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean early on, you it was pretty competitive early on. Your pass rush was there. It was nice
True.
to see Thibodeau get involved a little bit there, and um,
Finally.
but man, your line is fucking terrible, dude. Uh, I mean, you already know that, but uh, it's about like as sturdy as a house of cards in a windstorm. It can't do anything. Can't hold up, and Danny Dimes was running for his life whole game. It's tough. It was tough.
Yeah. At this point, I know you asked me, I think before we started recording, if the Giants should be looking for a quarterback in the offseason. And honestly, maybe. Like, I like Daniel Jones. He's very talented. And I think with the right team, he could be a playoff caliber quarterback, maybe
Right.
even Super Bowl. But this is not the one. He
Like,
can't he can't function.
can you trade him for picks and then use those picks to reestablish the offensive line, draft a quarterback,
Mm.
really have some consistency there on the offense?
Yeah, that's an interesting prospect. I don't think it'd be possible in this year just because of all the money that the Giants would have to eat since he just got paid.
Yeah.
But that is an interesting prospect. Like, if he went to the Jets, maybe they'd be something, right? Just the other New York team.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Giants definitely have to at least look at the quarterbacks in the offseason if it continues like this, because what's the point in having like a $40 million quarterback if we're just going to be losing all these games because we can't compete?
Right. And the thing is, with this draft, you could get a good quarterback in the second round. You don't even have to
Good
get one in
point.
the first. Like, you can get Bo Nix in the second. Um, so I mean, someone like Bo Nix coming in, or I don't know, you know a little bit more about the quarterbacks in the draft, if they might be able to slide, maybe Penix Jr.,
Yeah, with these guys, I think
Spencer
that is a
Rattler.
good point. I think we could draft somebody in like the second or third. Tyrod Taylor, our backup, is going to be a free agent, so we do have an opening there. Um, I think they'd probably go for they like Josh Allen with the Bills. That's what they came from. So I think they'd probably want to go with someone with somewhat of a style like him, like maybe a Michael Penix, maybe Sanders, but I doubt. I don't know if he'd even be there in the second. Maybe
Mm.
that'd be an interesting Sanders in New York. I don't know if I would like it, but he's got the personality for New York. Yeah, some other guys would be interesting there too, but I'd have to look at the list off the top
Quinn
of my
Ewers.
head. What's that?
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers? I mean, hey, maybe. There's some interesting ones for
Grow his
sure.
mullet again.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, that pretty
Definitely some
much sums
questions
it
there.
up. Unless you got something else for this game. You can talk about the Seahawks if you want. They just didn't have to do much, really.
Yeah, I don't really have much to talk about them. I mean, the Seahawks, I only watched the first half of this game, to be honest. The Seahawks, though, they just did enough. I feel like they
Yeah.
didn't overperform in any particular area, but they did enough.
Yeah, the Seahawks looked like they could be a playoff team, but I don't think they have enough to be like a deep playoff team right now. So we'll see as the year goes on.
Yeah, they definitely need to make some strides. I know like deep playoffs is their aspiration, and I had them winning their division this year. That looks like it's not going to happen. It's going to
Yeah.
be the 49ers, but unless Brock Purdy gets hurt, not sure, but um, that's really their only really outlook they have to win the division. So unless something drastically changes, or they could be one of those teams that makes a trade for one or two pieces that really puts them over the
Hmm.
top, like San Francisco did last year for McCaffrey. So um, we'll see. There's still a lot of football we play this year. So
Yeah, for sure. That sums up this week's recap, though. Some fun games. Looking forward to this next week, though. There's some even more fun games. So make sure you check us out with that video, too. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think, what's going on here. If you agree, disagree with anything we're saying. Fred, where can people find us?
check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on Instagram. We're putting out fantasy advice on the daily, and a couple profiles every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for waiver wires and stardom situm. So check it out. Win your week, win your league.
All right, until next time, my flea bags and Fleabag Nation. Peace.